de soleil, pas 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 de soleil,
Alright, welcome back to building a space elevator again, which is a new time-lapse series which includes building a new space elevator more horizontally with hover engines and towards the moon. Let's get started with talking about what we did so far with today's time-lapse. Alright, so there's going to be some things that you don't really see too much in the innards, the little details of things, and you'll see here, this is our camera person right there taking a nap. And we created somewhat of a... I kind of want to build some kind of bunk bed design, but I didn't want to put the ladder right in front of this right here. Which we could do that, potentially, I believe. Looks like you can. And it's just a little more difficult to get in because there's no other, like, offset ladder, really. But it would be nice if there was one, right? So even a scaffolding ladder, it could have been useful too, but that's already off to the side as well. So if anything, I think you would have to build kind of like a platform right over here, maybe like a panel or some sort, or catwalk, half catwalk or something like that. Is there a catwalk with the stairs like that? Not necessarily. It does have the half stairs, I think. Yeah, these half stairs. We could use this potentially, but I mean, that doesn't look that great. Actually, no, not too bad. Maybe we could do something like this then, in terms of a bunk bed-ish type of thing. Other than that, it looks fine this way. I just put a little light here to light up the spacing a little bit more as well. But yeah, that's the little changes that we made in the insides of the base here. And of course, as you can tell from the intro, we put the sleep mod on. So then that way we can go to sleep when it's nighttime and then not have to build during the night and not be able to see in terms of the time lapse. So that was the first thing we did in the inside, just for sleeping, being the day and everything like that. The next piece was actually to build this right here, eventually. And this is all collectors, so that when we use our rover to collect stone and iron from the other base, we can come here and drop it off without having to connect, which is a little quicker than connecting and building a connector at the moment. Obviously, being able to connect into a connector on a rover is a lot quicker, but it's just more of a problem than anything. Especially where I built out these connectors and stuff like that, or conveyors and cargo containers. So it was just easier to build. It wasn't easy. It actually took a lot of materials for this. So here you'll see it needed like 50 construction components and 30 steel plates and more than that. Of course, very beginning with just taking stone, we didn't really have too much of that, but we made it work. It took some time, but we definitely made it work. So all the connectors are on the bottom, connected to conveyor junctions to the bottom port of the connectors, which is a bit of a pain. But this was the initial hole we created from drilling, so why not use it anyways, right? So this is our nice little collector space, and we added an O2H2 system right here, so we could put our hydrogen bottles here to recharge them for our jetpack. And we did get some ice, and we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, that's pretty much what we did so far with the home base. And as I mentioned in the last episode, there was actually iron closer to us than I thought. Iron, I thought initially, was right there, 4 kilometers away. I did go over there to get some cobalt, though, so that way we could build metal grids for this large cargo container. Once I was able to build a large cargo container and get enough materials, I built out this whole drilling system, which is a simple drilling system that I've used in the past, and which is very convenient, that I use very, very often when I do drill. I normally don't drill when it comes to it, but there are times when I have these series like this that requires drilling. So this one would be a piston drill with a rotor and a hinge system, so then that way we can easily collect around the area. So I could have left it down there. I did break it, as you saw, because I moved it too much to the left or right. But moving up and down was fine for whatever reasons. So that's what this was here. And it's working out because it's gotten us a lot of iron. So right there, 93 thousand worth of iron, 408k worth of stone. So that's pretty good, to be honest. All right, so other than that, and you probably noticed this here, which is a large ore detector. which is just sitting out here for no reason. Well, there was a bit of a reasoning for that, and it was mainly because when I was driving my Rover around, the small ore detector right around here kind of detected it. I don't know how, if it's that deep, but it just detected it for a little bit. So I decided to build a big one right here to kind of spot exactly where it is. Because I only caught a glimpse of it and I went backwards and I didn't see anything again. I was like, it has to be around here. So 100 meters down below, it looks like. There's gold. So that's the next thing to really gather in terms of gathering resources, finding resources. As today was more of exploring for resources, to be honest. And got some luck out of it too. We got a few honeypots here. We got the cobalt honeypot. We got the iron honeypot. Now some gold. And I didn't mark it, but there's actually some ice around this way as well. Because we did dwindle ourselves down a bit too much in terms of our ice. We actually got up to about 28 ice left at one point in time. So I had to go out here and look for the ice and then drill for the ice, which I can't really find exactly where it was because I made the mistake of not marking it as well. But I should be able to find it fairly easily if I just grab my Rover again or even grab my drill just to look around. Here we go. There's some ice right here. So it is probably right around here, the hole, I think. Unless this is a new ice spot. I highly doubt it's a new ice spot, but it should be around here. Oh no, it's interesting. I guess this is a new ice honey hole, and it's next to magnesium. So GPS. I'm just gonna mark it just in case I run out of ice again. We have a significant amount of ice now, so we should be okay. But this is the vicinity of my ice hole in that sense. I know I made a pretty big hole somewhere too, but I don't see it anymore. Oh well. I think next thing we need is like nickel and maybe silicon, potentially. Oh, well, we got silicon right here. So there you go. Some easy exploration for material. I'm not going to mark the magnesium because I don't think we need the magnesium anytime soon. And if we did, it's next to the silicon and ice anyways. So those are the markings that I'm going to keep. Let's head over to the unknown signal really quick since it's only a pay away. Alright, so other than that, basically, we're trying to build out something really, really ginormous for no reason. And that is the piping system that you may have seen just a tad. Alright, so this mining base here is connected to the drill, as I mentioned before. We do have our turbines spinning, and these are working fine. As I mentioned before, our twin turbines, for some reason at one point, said they were poor, and now have optimal, except for this one, this is good. So something is blocking it, and it's probably... Okay, this is blocking it, probably, likely. So we should really get rid of that one and turn it to the side, if anything. And of course, we connected the Rover to this connector here, custom turret controller and helm control the drill system. So basically, we get in here, and we control the drill. If we go up and down... Oh, you know what? I broke the drill, so the custom turret controller is not set up correctly anymore. Oh wow, we got rid of all that already too. But yeah, I broke it, so that's what's not working. Okay, there we go. So we control it. Now we can control this left to right, up and down, as you see here in terms of the drill. A little hard to see, but we can do it mouse clicking and using our arrow keys. That works too, nice and steady. Not instead of your mouse, which is a little too quick. So there's that. Didn't realize that the helm with the ore detector doesn't look great. Sure. Anyways, yeah, we got a large cargo container. We have this piping that I was just talking about to reach all the way back to our main base. So I'll try to put it in the ground as much as possible and not have it float on the top, so it looks a little better. So might as well clean it up if I'm doing something crazy like this. At first, I was going to build it up top here and then raise it up to the towards there. But no, I decided to build on the ground, which is also a poor decision too, because I'm driving a Rover right now. Because if a Rover runs into these pipings, then yeah, it's game over for the pipes. We got to rebuild it. But if I had it up on top, I would have a Rover or a ship, and that would run it over and cause a problem too. So there's some goods and bads here. But of course, I could always build like some kind of ramp or whatever around them, so it doesn't conflict with a Rover just in case. But I don't know. I think to me, ideally, it just looks a little bit better having it kind of piped towards the ground that way. So it doesn't look like to have too much things flying on top. And if you're wondering how I was able to connect the two, even though both bases were built separately, basically here's a tip for you guys, and that is pressing B on the keyboard if you're using mouse and keyboard in this case, or PC or a computer to play Space Engineers. You press B twice, and it'll do a local grid align placement mode. So now I can pretty much build it right here, and it's gonna align to that building there or this building here, depending on how far you are. So if I put one right over here, it should align with this block here. So as you see here. But if I hit B again, which is replacement mode, that's when you can do anything. You have a gravity align placement, which doesn't do much in this case either. But the local grid alignment or line placement, we'll be able to get that here. So I could build another piece of grid and it'll connect. But as long as they're not too far. Because if you're way too far, it's likely not going to work out. But luckily, as you see here, the bases are not that far. It's about roughly 200 meters, or a little bit over 200 meters. So flying back and forth with a jetpack works perfectly fine. Riding the Rover back and forth is perfectly fine as well. But yeah, that's pretty much time-lapse number 2. Resource gathering, exploration, and then now since we have so much materials, and once we finish connecting the pipes, which we are trying to get as much material as possible for pipes, and weld them all up, we should be able to begin our journey to the moon right over there. So probably gonna start right around here for placement towards the moon, or we can go as far as right here to find a slightly flatter area, if anything, and put that style that way. I don't know, maybe we shouldn't call it a space elevator, more like a space monorail, if anything, because it's the horizontally built one. But either way, it's something that's going to space. So that's why I called it the space elevator, because it's still going to space eventually. And it really depends on which direction you are. If you're looking at the other side of the planet, it's going up in some ways. There's that. So this is much more difficult thing to build other than a straight up towards the top, which it would be easy to do that. So my goal is to try and plan to reach the moon. I might miss, but hopefully the mod that that was mentioned about a laser antenna type thing should probably direct me to the moon and point it to the moon, so I shouldn't have any issues. Other than that, I could probably try to build something as long as possible and project it and check it on it. I don't know. I might have to go cheese a little bit in terms of going to creative mode to really make sure that I get to the moon. But I don't know. Either we risk it and try and go blindly and aim for it like this, or we actually make it happen. I kind of prefer the latter. But we'll see how that goes in the future. And of course, lastly, we updated our Rover a little bit just to add a little bit of passenger seats, and that's mainly for the camera person. So then that way, instead of sitting up here in the back, they can have a nice little view in third person view to kind of see the driving and everything like that. And of course, I added a little bit of this white accent armor right here with the cylindrical block here, and lastly this weird exhaust light system, but I actually put a light in there instead. And then I tried to put an exhaust somewhere around, but it didn't really work out. But yeah, this looks, I actually like that look with triangles in the back with a little bit of an accent look. Just gives a better look to it in terms of this like boxy truck. I mean, it kind of hides the fact that this thing's held together by the large car container, which is a really bad idea. but it still kind of works out. But yeah, other than that, stay tuned for the next time lapse. I think the next one is trying to finish off this tubing system, and then we're gonna start it with our platform and try to find a way to align it towards the moon, because we definitely want to hit that mark. All right, so if you guys enjoyed this episode, this time lapse, don't forget to like and subscribe, comment down below, and of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.